All right, warm greetings. We're going to open up real wide this time. Now, a student asked me about the Hungar counting sequence, right? So you want to take a low stance first, extend the fist out towards the center. The count is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you switch. Start off 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now a couple pointers on that punch. This trains a couple areas. Trains you to punch right down the center for one. It also teaches you how to come back properly, almost like an elbow strike. So you're going to bring your hands all the way back. You're going to punch out and all the way back. So you got, okay, that's the first part. Second part of that is where you drive with the hip, right? So basically, if I turn my hip enough, my fist will automatically line up with the center of my body. And I can keep my arms relaxed and just extend, and then twist into a proper fist, which is leading with the first two knuckles. Turn the hip again as you pull back, all the way back. Now, unlike the Wing Chun, the fist is horizontal, but there's a twist in it. Some of you karate practitioners may recognize that, but it comes from the traditional Hungar system. So you're going to start here. You're going to go 1, 2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you switch. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. All right, close up. Counting was a little off with that, but the idea is to go 2, 4, 6, 8. And remember those pointers about the punches. That way you develop a good, fully extended, powerful punch that utilizes the hip, right? Now, the other parts of that, if we open up again, is you have same thing. The count is very similar for the elbow strikes. Now, the elbow, you're going to position your elbow, center your body with your forward hand, your wusao hand, and backhand. And from here, you're going to just slide the elbow up the middle here. This hand here protects lower. So it's almost like you're coming up, slicking your head back. And then from here, you're going to position the arm and turn the hip to finish off the elbow. So that way you can drive with the hip. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. I'll show you from the side. Now watch my hip. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Remember, keep that hand there. Don't let it drop out the picture, right? Okay. Now, let's see. The next one is the back fist, right? The best way to show you that is to show you from this position. So with the back fist, you're basically going to strike back all the way back with the elbow and then come up with the fist. Turn the hip again all the way and then back fist. So you got 1, 2, right? This hand here parries down, right? Not with the fingers, but almost like a chop down, palm facing the ground, right? So you can offset any kicks. You don't want to jam your finger up. So you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. All right. So that one you definitely want to practice. I'll show you from the front so you can see what that looks like. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back to the same side. 2, 2, 3, 4. Back to the same side. 3, 2, 3, 4. Back to the same side. 4, 2, 3, 4. Got it? So the trick with that is that once you hit parry and back fist, you come back to the center and you repeat before you go to the other side. Okay? Now the last one is the back fist out to the side. What's important about that is the relaxation part, right? So it's almost like a ball and chain, right? So you're going to go from here, you're going to go 1, 2. Your hand, it's a relaxed motion, but what drives it really is the hips. So it's almost like a ball and chain. So once you make contact, that's where the gin comes in. So you got to relax. If you do it too stiff, it's too slow. So start here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Couple pointers on that. If you find yourself doing this, that's wrong, right? You'll know because you'll feel it in your shoulders. So what I'm doing is I'm actually using my hip, and the the fist just hinges out naturally, almost like a real loose ball and chain. That's where you pick up the speed and you get that snap. So again, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4. Right? It's a nice technique, especially if you're fighting. It's good. It looks almost like a jab, but not quite. It actually comes, elbows are not necessarily positioned in a down position. It might be actually pointing towards your target. So that's the difference between the jab and the back fist. So take from that what you will. Um, so yeah, that's it. There's actually one more exercise you could actually throw into that. That would be the lower body exercise. That would be the knee strikes. So here, you actually don't need to be as wide because it takes a little bit more time to try to bring your knee up from a wide position. So you could take a traditional high horse stance, slightly pigeon-toed, knees clamped towards the center. And right, so what you're going to do is first you do the first 10 coming up the middle. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's the basic, right? Now the trick to that, especially with kicks. Now, if you come up this way with a kick, that's sort of signaling for the person to step back or offset. But if they step back, it's you probably won't reach them, right? Unless you throw the hip in with it. That way, you could almost uh, get them to miscalculate how far your kick is going to go. But it also drives the kick too. It gives it a little bit more power. So when you do your knee strikes, you're going to come up and hip first, and then, right, we're not going to kick, but we're just going to bring the knee up and use the hip. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, right? Um, for some, you on a almost on the ball of your feet when you drive the knee up. That's an option for you. But if that's too much, just work on getting the hip to initiate the motion. That way you can relax the rest of the body and just focus on the largest part of your body, right? And use that to drive the knee. Now to the side, usually what I like to do for mobility and power, I try to get my students to touch the knee to the opposite elbow. So pivot first and drop the knee here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so obviously that is for driving the knee to the side, right? But by touching your elbow, you develop the muscles and the flexibility and stuff. So the first round is you're going to start off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you're going to go to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Of course, the other reason for that too is it's the best way to guard. If you can guard from the top of the eye all the way down through the groin to the knee, that's one of your best guard positions. So if you leave a gap, likely there's a kick that's going to follow through there or a punch. If you get in the habit of bringing your knee up high and keep your wusao in the guard position, you got a straight obstacle that keeps you from getting kicked either in the groin, knee, or eye, or somewhere along your center line. So, yeah, you can actually walk with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Defense is so important. Not only is it important to get your target when you strike, but also avoiding hits too and stuff. That's the basic for that. If you want to improve that, you could always do your, what I said before in another video, your crane stance. Strengthen up the leg that way. Once you get that down, the basic knee, throwing a kick is just a matter of following through, right? And you'll feel a difference in power. So I hope that was helpful. Go back to practicing, and I'll see you next video.